all relationships are an exchange of value, you know that that guy is full of A guy who says relationships are an exchange of value and focuses on the transactional exchange model of relationships has most likely never felt peak desire from a woman. And a guy who says things like that and talks about relationships like they're engineering projects has never had the experience, like, for example, of a hot woman who could get other men easily, yet chooses to be with him and cheats on her husband, in fact, to sleep with him over and over again, addicted to the orgasms that she gets with that guy while risking losing her marriage to her wealthy husband who would leave her with nothing if she were to get caught cheating due to his prenup. Real situation, by the way. All right. The guy who says all relationships are transactional has never had a woman buy houses or relocate her life just to be closer to that guy so she could get that guy to try to move in with her or just be closer and see that guy more often. He's that guy who says that has never had a woman risk her entire future and everything she has just to be with him or just for the opportunity to be with him. A guy who says things like relationships are an exchange of value have never had women risk everything, including cheating on boyfriends or fiancés or husbands, just to be with somebody and risk it all for a man who has really nothing and lives on friends' couches in between deployments. Also a real story. All right. That guy who says relationships are an exchange of value has never had a woman be willing to abandon her old life to follow him wherever he wants to go, even if that would mean sacrifices for her. I could go on and on. All right. But these are my experiences and the experiences of a small number of men who have been able to create high emotions and desires in women. And some of these experiences I don't talk about a lot because it's not something I want to brag about. Look, I'm not really proud of the fact that women have ruined their lives, at least temporarily, just for the chances to be with me, even when I urge them not to do that. Okay. And I'm not proud of the fact that women had cheated with me and had been willing to throw away their families because I got them addicted to orgasms with me and I didn't think about those consequences. I, I'm not perfect, all right? And I'm a lot wiser now. And I didn't realize the power that seduction can have and the power that I had at that time. And that caused some heartache. And I have things in my past which, I had been more reckless back then and that I would change some of those things if I could. So I don't necessarily talk about all those things because I don't want people to emulate that. And there's a lot of people that can create this same kind of burning desire and they have good, healthy relationships too, which is what I'm in right now. And I'm definitely here to promote having more healthy relationships, having good dating experiences that are both good for the man involved and the woman, right? But my point here in all this is that when you experience that high desire from a woman like that, and you experience it when a woman is willing to risk everything just to be with you, and you're the guy a woman would leave her career for if she needed to, leave her family for if she needed to, leave her entire life for if she needed to, then you know that when someone says some shit like, all relationships are an exchange of value, you know that that guy is full of shit, right? You, I did a video on this about a week ago and how transactional model of relationships is wrong and will lead you to failure. Now, I thought I explained the reasons why pretty well in the video, but I guess I didn't make myself clear enough and I didn't make my case well enough for some because sure as shit, I get a guy in my comments telling me that I really should read a particular book on the topic written by this YouTube psychologist. Now, I'm not so sure what this guy missed from the video I did. But the hard fact is, and I want you to listen very carefully because I don't think I can make myself more clear. All right. is that the transactional model of relationships is a false model. It's a model that is for men who lose with women and for men who don't have game. The transactional model only would make sense to men who have never really experienced that genuine desire from a woman. And unfortunately, that's about 80% of men. And there are a lot of men who think they've experienced it, but they just haven't. And they just don't know. I've seen it with guys who I've worked with in coaching. They end up getting out of a bad marriage or something like that, or a bad relationship. And they start learning the skills in our coaching groups. And then they start really experiencing what the 20% of us have been enjoying and that they've been missing. And they're like absolutely in shock. I mean, they're euphoric and excited and giddy, like somebody who just won a bunch of money on a game show or something. It's kind of fun to watch actually, when you're coaching guys in that scenario and watching guys make that transition. It's exciting, it's inspiring, and they will tell you that they thought they had experienced genuine desire before, but they just really hadn't. Not like this. Not like what they're experiencing now with the right skills in frame and seduction. And that's the good news, by the way, guys, is that getting that desire is really skill based. It's not something that's just left open to chance and you have to hope you stumble into it. All right. That's not really how it works, even though that's been what you've been told. A guy who says, relationships are all transactional or relationships are an exchange of value and talks about this shit mathematically without considering the massive variable that desire brings to the relationship is someone who is basically telling you that they have no idea what it would be like for a woman to be madly in love with them because they just don't know what they don't know. They've not experienced it. Again, it's 80% or more, guys. All right. 80% is the number. 80%, it could be higher than that even, of men who haven't really experienced that desire. Because when you have experienced that desire, where a woman has desire that is so high that she is willing to throw her entire life away just to be with you, if she had to, then you know that seriously bonded relationships are not transactional. They're not negotiations, and they're not this exchange of value in a transactional manner. Burning desire means that the relationship can no longer be a simple exchange of value. A relationship based in desire is a situation where value is no longer a major part of that equation, and emotions then take over. So someone who thinks relationships are all transactional and talks about it like that has not experienced a relationship that wasn't. So that coach, psychologist, or dating expert or whatever can't comprehend what it would be like to be in a relationship where a woman would be willing to give up her life like that in that manner to follow you. Now, I know I've repeated myself like several times here in this video, but I know I also have to do that, right? In order to get through to some of you, because I want you to realize that you can have burning desire from a woman. All right. It's not something that happens by chance. Okay. There is a formula to it. Now, if you join my community, it's free and that can get you started on the pathway to learning some of this stuff. 80% chance that if you're listening to me right now, you haven't experienced the level of desire I'm talking about. You might have had sex with women, sure. You might have even dated beautiful women. You might have even had kids with a woman or gotten a woman to marry you, right? But you never had a normal woman without any mental health problems get into a feral state with you and want to fuck you like her life and her future literally depends on it and on her getting multiple orgasms out of you and having that be a sustainable feeling even after the sexual experience and to want to continue to be coming back for more and to want to continue to be with you and be willing to do that regardless of what is going on in the rest of her life. And I'm dead serious. I'm not exaggerating. And these are not dysfunctional women. It's all women when this is sparked inside of them. And that is the type of desire that awaits you if you are willing to learn the skills and better yourself in the seduction game. All right. So click that link. And if Sexpionage 2.0, which is a course, or Mastermind, or one of my courses is still available by the time this airs, you might want to DM me about that and ask about getting into one of those if you really want to learn. Okay. Here is the real issue I have though with this topic, and why I'm bringing this thing up about the transactional relationships thing again. It alludes to the bigger problem, which is, how can someone teach you how to have the type of relationship that you and every other man out there wants if he doesn't even know that these relationships exist because he has never experienced it? Do you see the problem here? A YouTube content creator can't give you the advice you need to lead you to desire from a woman if he doesn't know what he doesn't know. That person who claims to be an expert is never going to lead you into that experience. An even bigger problem here is that so-called expert advice will sound good to most of you. It's going to sound good to 88 to 85% of the people out there who are just as clueless as he is. Now, okay, I know I've lost some of you now because you're kind of on the side of the guy who hasn't experienced that desire. And that might be your life so far. And that's okay because I'm here to help. So maybe let's just look at it here like in a different way. All right. If relationships were purely transactional exchanges of value and women were just opportunists going with the best deal all the time, then why is cucking and mate switching in our evolutionary past? Like, why would a woman risk her transactional needs from the tribe or society or her provider, risk sometimes ostracization or death just to cheat and have some other guy's baby? Like, why would a woman cheat in places where laws would ever killed for adultery? Like in our past in a lot of places, and even today in some Muslim countries. And yes, just for your information, women in those environments still cheated, and women in Sharia law Muslim countries still cheat, and they do so rather constantly. All right. The reason is because once desire enters the picture, negotiations are over. Logical thought for a woman goes out the window, and the relationship ceases to be transactional at that point. And guess what? Her having genuine desire for you and her being willing to abandon her transactional needs is exactly what is required if you want to have a peak relationship. This means that these guys on the internet can't give you what you want, and you are wasting your time and poisoning your mind by listening to their bullshit, because the transactional model is just one example. There's a lot of other theories. Now, that being said, I want to be clear again to say this isn't an attack on anyone personally. People who promote this idea might be wrong and they might be great people. Okay. Some people just need to humble themselves and maybe recognize when they're wrong and work to fix it. I'm the same way, by the way. I'm no different. If I'm wrong in something, I'll be the first to tell you. And my door is open for any of these coaches or therapists or psychologists or content creators, whatever their title is. My door is open to them. If they want to fix things, have some discussions with me, all right, straighten some things out with me, I'll help get them straightened out. All right, that's what I do. I've had coaches who are coaching you guys and coaching other people that come to me for sessions. I work on their inner game. Okay, I've done that for years. It's just you come to somebody who can help straighten you out in the areas you need to get straightened out in. And I do the same thing. All right. I would gladly seek out answers from another professional if I were missing something and that person had it. And I have done that throughout my life. So this is not an ego thing. Okay. It's just about doing what is right. Because right now, the right answer isn't to remain clueless, just to protect your brand and to promote ideas that lead men to failure and not being willing to change those ideas. These guys who are promoting this shit on YouTube need to fix themselves or risk being embarrassed by the truth and being embarrassed by someone like me who isn't afraid to tell it. Now, for the rest of you, Do yourself a favor. All right. Stop listening to people that sound good, but who aren't going to really get you anywhere. All right. You are poisoning your mind at this point. All right. With that shit. What you can do instead is, like I mentioned, get on my community. All right. We use critical thinking there to have logical discussions where we challenge each other's ideas. We create action plans that get us places that are better. It gets even further and more in depth behind paywalls and coaching programs, right? I think that's probably a better use of your time. Last, help me fight censorship by subscribing, please, to the channel. Thanks again for the support.